Hello and welcome back. Today we're going to be looking at the final 16 measures of the Etude number 6 in G major. Let's get started. Etude number 6 has 48 measures, and today we're going to be looking at the final 16 measures of the composition, all of which are in the key of G major. Okay, let's take a listen to the final 16 measures of the composition. All of this part of the composition is in the key of G major, and it extends from low C up to high D, just over 2 octaves. So let's review the G major scale. There's one big altissimo note in this composition that has to be mastered, and that's E6, the high E. I refer to it as left E because you're going to be using the left A flat key for this. So let's review the fingers for this note. It's half whole, 2 and 3 in the left hand, and the A flat key. The octave key in the back, number 1 octave key, and the second and third fingers of the right hand. And because we're using the left little finger, we call this left E6 or left high E. Now let's take a look at the arpeggios needed for this section. There's a G major arpeggio, and you can see that at the end, from high D down to the G. That's pretty easy. The C major arpeggio, though, on the bottom line, that's a little bit more tricky because you played this series of odd skips, and then you've got to jump from E down to low C. While you're playing the odd skips on the bottom line, open the throat up to prepare you for playing that low-tongued C natural. There are no major counting or rhythmic issues in this section. Mostly 16th notes. There's one tie, the high E natural. To prepare for it, let's take a look at what the rhythm would be for those 2 measures without the tie. Without the tie, it would be counted like this: 1 and 2, 1. With the tie, it would be counted 1 and 2 and 2 and 3 and. So let's hear it without the tie and with the tie. You'll notice in the music, I have placed a small breath mark because if you need a little bit of air after playing the entire etude, that's a good place to take a quick intake, probably just through the nose, quick nose of air. There is only one unusual item in this last part of the etude, and that is that trill with the grace notes that is the pickup note to the final section. So let's take a look at how to practice it in a sequence. The first step is to use a metronome, take the trill out and take the grace notes out. You'll be playing that many, many times like that. Do not clip the end of the slur either. Blow through the slur. Dee-ah, da, 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 da. The next step is to put the trill in. You're only going to be able to play one trill. So D, E, D. The next step involves a lot more patience. Slow down your metronome and notice the trill plus the grace notes is a quintuplet, D, E, D, C sharp, D. Pro tip, don't move anything in the left hand during this time. It's basically a turn, right? Ba-da-da-da-da. You're moving only your ring and little finger of your right hand. Then practice in time with the metronome, 5 notes. Now in time with the high C after it. Now, in time with the metronome and play the entire next measure. And then over the course of many weeks, slowly increase your speed. But every time you increase, go back to play the long tone, 3, 1, and 2, and 3, and 1. Ba-dee-ah-ha, dot, 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 dot. Ba-dee-ah, dot, 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 dot. Always sequence those 3 parts as you increase speed. Don't forget a good warm-up. Start your warm-up before your practice session with long tones, air exercises, and the scales you're going to be using. Now let's take a look at some of the specific technical challenges. First will be measures 37 through 39. That's the descending scale. That's not too difficult. Don't think staccato, think light, a light tonguing style instead. You won't have time to play a true staccato anyway. You're going to be playing this very, very, very fast. Notice it's followed by an ascending arpeggio. So really, you have several scale passages with one arpeggio that breaks it up, all in the key of G. Now let's take a look at measures 41 through 43, the slurs with the accents. The first step, of course, is to just play it with no accent slowly. Notice that the slur extends all the way to the high B, but the B does not have a dot on it, so we would not clip the slur. The B is its regular value. Remember, the end of a slur is not clipped in an etude style or in classical music. Now let's look at the end of the composition. Depending on your personal preference and in discussion with your private teacher, you may or may not wish to put a retard at the end. I'm going to play both ways, with the retard, without the retard, so that you get an idea of what it would sound like and discuss with your teachers how you prefer to perform it. My personal preference is a slight retard at the end gives a kind of a tasty ending and a sense of finality to the composition. There are a few articulation issues to discuss in this final section. The staccato I mentioned earlier is a light tonguing style. Probably you should not be thinking, I must play staccato. I don't think at a very fast tempo anyone's going to be able to tell very much as long as you tongue lightly. The next issue is the slur with the accents. Don't try to do the accents until you're completely comfortable doing the slurs. It will almost sound to a listener's ear accented anyway because the changing notes occur on the beat. If you have time to put that into your practice regimen, you'll practice it first without the accents, then with the accents. You'll notice it's just a little extra breath on the beat. Since this section of the etude has no extra dynamic markings or suggestions for dynamic markings, I've included some suggestions that would help you shape phrases. Please note at the end, it is not one big diminuendo, but a small diminuendo down the scale, starting over again with another small diminuendo at the end for the arpeggio. Always, the oboist must think about tone quality. Start by playing long tones and slow passages, thinking about the quality of your sound. If you feel like at any time your sound is noisy or harsh, stop. Go back and slow down your practice and think, is it because the fingers are moving the oboe around? Is my face moving around? Or is it because I'm just not thinking about tone quality? In many cases, when younger players start playing fast, they will close the inside of their mouth, and that will cause a harsher and sharper tone and sharper pitch. Well, we've taken a long journey together. This is the end of the session for Etude number 6 for the 5A, 6A All-Region Etudes 2022. If I can help you prepare further for your audition, please contact me at the email address or phone number given. Remember, you must practice every day. Build up your face muscles, build up endurance, and build up confidence for the audition. Good luck.